Guys, first of all, welcome once again. I am Nidhi from SIEC. So at SIEC, we've been into international education for last 25 years, and we've been helping students take up different study destinations across the globe for their higher education. Along with and we ourselves actually represent about 500 plus institutions globally and have network of offices across India. So whichever part of India you're joining in from, we would be able to help you out. The whole idea of doing today's session is because we have a very strong test prep division, and today the test we're talking about is GRE. So I have with me the expert Sohit, Sohit, I'd like you to introduce yourself, and then Navneet, I'd like you to introduce yourself so that everyone knows who they are talking to.
Yeah, first I would like to send all of you good evening here, right? And in the lines of introduction of myself, I am at the SIC and I am the quant faculty here, and I had been teaching maths from last around to 7 to 8 years, and I have a deep expertise in teaching quants of all sectors, whether it is your GRE, GMAT, or SAT. So today you will yourself realize that how important is quant in your GRE section. So we will discuss in due course of the time. Over to you, Navneet.
Yeah, before Navneet, you go, I can tell you, Sohit, because since I, run a different thing, but I keep hearing a lot of stuff about you in regards to quant section specifically. So guys, literally you are talking to a person today who can take any question from you on quants, and he's kind of a celebrity amongst his students, I think. Jaskaran probably would let us know later. So Navneet, you can carry on now.
Hi everyone, my name is Navneet and I help students to get the admissions done in the US. So I help them, with the all process of applications and then the scholarships and then getting them placed in the US universities. So that's the short description about me.
Yeah, and so why it is important for you to know that Navneet is here with us today, because you would be able to ask any questions related to GRE as well, related to US admissions as well. If any one of you is still looking at January 2022, or whether you're looking at fall 2022, any questions you can actually ask Navneet. So, you've got both the experts here on the panel today. And I think we have a very special guest, Jaskaran. Jaskaran, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Jaskaran. I'm in the second year of my college.
Where are you studying?
I'm in GTBIT, Rajouri Garden.
Okay. And you're doing, I think, GRE with Sohit. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes. I'm doing the quant sessions with Sohit.
Okay, cool. So I'm sure people will have questions from you as well.
Yes.
Thank you, Jaskaran, for joining in. Appreciate that. So, to start off with, Sohit, I think the first thing that we would help our kids really see is what's GRE, what are the components in a brief, so that I am sure most of them would be aware of it, but still to give them a brief and a quick thing of, what's it all about. And what is the preferred score if you're looking at top universities? The first part, if we can cover that, I think that will be good.
Yes, ma'am. So, just to introduce all our audience here related to the GRE exams. So first, it is an online test. Make a note of this, that there is no offline test of the GRE test. Second, you will be tested in your 3 sections, which is first is your essay, second is your quant, and the third will be your verbal section. So total score of the GRE is your 340 marks, consisting of your verbal and your quant score. Out of which, out of 340, as a teacher, I will suggest, as a faculty, I will suggest that anything beyond 325 is assumed to be a good score. And it is, pretty, it's an achievable task. It's not a big deal. Why? Because there is no negative marking in your GRE test. So, that is something that our audience should make a note of. That since there is no negative marking, so you can, tick or you can go ahead for the every questions. One major thing I want to discuss with the rest of the students, that tests are adaptive in nature. What I mean by adaptive in nature, that let's suppose you are giving your question section 1, and accordingly, you had what you had done in your section 1, accordingly the section 2 will be available to you. So if you are doing well, you will be going toward something more difficult section, which helps you in increasing your percentile level. So that is something that a student should target, that in their initial section, in their start section, they should try to achieve as much as a score as possible to land themselves into something difficult section, which will help them in, you know, not only gaining the good marks, but also the gaining the high percentile as well.
Okay, but you're making it sound easy. Jaskaran, is that easy? I mean, honestly, listening to you, it seems as if everything's achievable. But I've heard students thinking that it's a little tough to work out. Jaskaran, how are you finding the GRE preparation going on? And are you feeling the improvement in you? What is tough? What is easy to catch? Can you like quickly help students know?
Yeah, sure. I think the quant is, as I say, the quant, everyone knows the quant till 12th, as everyone has said that, but we don't remember that. The main point is that, and the maths comes through the practice. And I think the sir is doing a great job in that thing. It's
So
easy.
it's continuous practice that is needed to score well.
Needed. Yes. That's the main point.
Got it. Thank you so much. Guys, as we are having the discussion and people are giving you all the updates, please start putting in your questions in the chat box so that we take up all your questions. Now, Sohit, in terms of GRE, so there are two sections, right? Quants and verbal. Both are equally important. One is more important. How is the structure? What matters to the and Navneet, my later question to you would be, is it that universities look at both the things, or is it one that matters most? How it is? So hit first you.
Look, both the GRE verbal as well as quant, they both are equally scored, and they both are equally important, right? Because the score of 340 is divided into two halves, 170 and 170. So, you know, and scores are, since they both are equally available and both are equally applicable, so we need to put our effort, you know, equally in both of them, rather than thinking like that if I might display my skill in the maths, I will be given edge over others if I'm targeting the, you know, computer science engineering, something like that. So it's not the case. You have to, you know, show your equal skills in both of them. It's not like the case that you can, you know, give an edge over the mathematics if you are wanting the something related to the engineering, and if you want something related to the psychology, you want to give your edge over the verbal. So I believe that it's not the case. You need to be very much focused in both. Both has to be practiced equally, right?
And Navneet, does universities look at any one particular thing more strongly, the US universities, or both have to be done equally well? Is there a weightage given to anything particular?
Yes, in a way, Sohit is right, because they definitely look at the overall score. But some of the course options, they are particularly looked into on the basis of individual scores. So the universities do give the segregation of scores, you know, in terms of quants, verbal, and even AWA for that matter. The analytical writing assessment, the essay the students have to write. So it is, I mean, just to put an example to it, say, for example, the student is applying for a computer science program. The universities would not look under anything 155, okay, out of 170. And if the student is going for something related to liberal arts, then the university would emphasize more, I mean, give a relaxation towards quants, but not that much of relaxation. In a way, 4 points or 5 points relaxation comparatively to the verbal section. So they will have a, you know, a higher entry requirement for a verbal section. And even they mentioned the AWA requirement as well, that they would not accept anything less than 3.0, right? So they do mention the specific requirement they need module wise. So the student has to focus not just overall, but even individually as well when he's targeting a specific course and a specific institution.
Got the point. So I think that's pretty clear. So we've got to give that importance to everyone. So Sohit, any particular, so since the first thing, GRE is valid for 5 years. Am I right?
Correct.
So yes. Any student who is in the second year or the third year, they can start their GRE preparation, even in the first year, because Navneet, 1 year before the admission start, right? Anyone's looking at fall 22. Now is the time when they would start looking at admissions. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if it is 1 year prior and 5 years is the validity, ideally second year or third year, GRE should be done. Do you guys agree? Is that how it should be?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Sohit, when kids are here, any particular books or online resources to follow the GRE exams?
Look, ma'am, to start with, what I had seen that almost every students try the Manhattan book, a green color book, which is called as a Bible of the GRE preparation, right? So, I will suggest that to start with, because why? Because,
Manhattan, right?
Manhattan book, right?
Manhattan. Okay.
GRE Manhattan books. Why? Because, it has the ample of the practice question first, and the questions are not up to, that much highest level. You can say that the questions start from the beginner level to the highest level, right? So it's not like that they just start with something very difficult. So what I will suggest that to start with start your preparation with a Manhattan GRE book, practice book, and then following that you can switch ahead to the Kaplan, which is assumed to be slightly difficult than the Manhattan, and following that you can start the mock practices. The more emphasis should be given to the mock practices, that is the online test. Why? Because ultimately you have to give your test on that platform only. So earlier you tune yourself in that direction, the better you will be going to score. And for the online sources, I will suggest that we ourselves are providing the online sources first, and second, the third party online sources like the Manhattan, or they can try the even they register for the ETS, then they themselves provide the 2 free tests. So these are the things that they can try to in order to excel and ace the GRE exams.
Got it. That's valuable information. Before I take another question, before I ask my question, Hiteshi. I hope I'm taking your name right. She's asking that I'm currently in my sophomore year pursuing BTech in IT. I wish to do my master's in the US. What path, according to you, should I follow to work it all out in my third year? Navneet, would you like to take this up?
Right. So Hiteshi, if you can just maybe put down the kind of course you're looking at for your master's, because that will give me a little bit of clarity, and also about what exactly you're looking at.
And others as well, while we are having a discussion, whatever questions come to your mind, please keep putting it in the chat box, and we'll take your questions, right? So Hiteshi, you can even unmute yourself if you want.
Yeah, you can.
She has computer science.
All right. So what was the question?
So it was that what should she do? What should she follow to work it all out in her third year? So how should she plan?
For GRE, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For
So
GRE and for admissions as well,
okay,
in
right.
general, basically.
Okay. So I'll just give a brief about both
Yeah.
of them. So GRE, now you should start up. Okay, if you are planning to take it in the third year, and it is the right time, because anyways, if you want to, if by chance you want to take a second attempt, you will have enough time to take that. Okay, because anyways you have to practice as well. So so it is the right time to start your preparation and take it in the third year, and the second attempt if you would like. So that's about GRE. If I talk about the admission purpose, it is the overall profile is what they look at. The holistic profile is what I mean. When I say holistic profile, it is all about your resume. What all do you have in your resume? So other than your academic credentials, other than the GRE, and other than the entry requirements which are there for the universities to qualify for the application, it is also what extra have you done? For example, you want to get into computer sciences and specifically say data sciences, or maybe related to information systems. You should have done some of the internships, maybe remote or in-person internships, which could bring value to your portfolio, overall portfolio, right? So the internships would matter, the co-curriculars would matter, extracurriculars would matter. So maybe we can discuss in detail once you would like to do that with me, and because it'll go way too long if I start speaking and maybe start discussing about the profile building, how to build up, because this is the time, because if you're in your second year, sophomore year, so in any case you will have to start up. You must have started it from your first year itself, about taking the internships, about what extra you can build up, what extra you can do during your course of, these 4 years of course. So that's what I would suggest, that look at the institution you want to target, look at the course you want to go for in that institution, what they require specifically, that department requires specifically, that course requires specific, the curriculum you will be taking up, what additional, courses you would like to take other than what you are taking right now, or maybe you would require to take, that will help you in getting an admit, easy admit, and also will help bring credits, in your masters. So, yeah.
True. And Jaskaran, while listening to Navneet, I got curious. How come you started in the second year? I think you're in the second year, right? And you already started your preparation for GRE.
Yeah. Yes.
Why
yes, yes.
second year?
Actually, my sister was also have done everything from SIEC only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So due to her guidelines, as I followed everything as she said, the main thing is that.
Maybe it'll be good because you'll be able to do it early on.
Yeah.
You'll be able to finish it.
Because after GRE I can focus on my profile, so how to make it good.
Correct. So another question Hiteshi had was that how to work on your English.
Okay, how to work on your English.
Yeah.
Do you mean verbal English, the GRE English verbal part, or just the normal proficiency, English proficiency? Because you can unmute and ask Hiteshi. That's not a problem.
Yeah. I was talking about the in general, like both.
Okay. So in general, I would say that practice. English is something, language or anything, it requires practice. And if I talk about English specifically, so you'll be taking up an English proficiency test as a requirement, as an admission requirement very soon. It is valid for 2 years, so you just have to figure out the time when you have to take it. So your 4 skills are, tested on that, in that particular exam. That is listening, reading, writing, speaking, be it English, IELTS you are taking, that's International English Language Testing System. If you're taking, or maybe you are taking up TOEFL, or by then when you will be applying for the admission, since you are in your second year, if Duolingo will be accepted, so these are the 4 modules on which you are, tested, on which you are judged. So you can start reading to practice reading, because it is more of comprehension passages is what you receive in your English proficiency exam. So comprehension reading, or maybe normal book reading, novel reading is what you can look at. When it comes to listening, maybe Netflix is the best option to practice, listening, because it is something which has got various accents, various, subjects to listen to. So that will help you focus on the listening part and get acquainted to the different accents as well. And when it comes to writing, then anyways, your analytical writing, GRE also involves writing. So maybe essay writing is what you should start practicing now itself, because it's not just GRE or maybe, IELTS or TOEFL where you write. It's also your admissions. It involves in your admissions process also, a lot of essays are involved. Okay. When you're typically targeting computer science or maybe such a, competitive field, then definitely these essays are a consideration, or maybe, hold weightage in your application and getting the acceptances as well. So maybe you can start practicing essays, because that's an integral part of their education system, specifically American education system, right? So maybe that's the thing. And speaking is all about practice. Maybe start talking to your friends in English, maybe near and dear ones in English. Maybe some of the students, they just call up, it's a funny thing, but some of the students, they just call up the customer service and they try them as well. So you can possibly, try with them, because they will not be judging you anyways, right? So that's how you can practice English.
Thanks,
Okay,
Navneet.
and as you, 1 minute, please. And as you say that I can talk to you personally, because I have lots of doubts, and if I ask them here, it will be too long for the session.
Yeah.
So how can I talk to you like in person?
I will drop my details, in the chat box. You can definitely, and we also have, just for the convenience and everyone's, convenience, we have launched our office, that's virtual office, and you can just visit our website, fill a short form, that's an online form, directly talk to me. That form will link you to our virtual office, and I am available there from 10 to 6 Monday to Saturday. And you can talk to me, and I'll personally drop in my contact details as well to, for your convenience.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Just to add
Hiteshi.
in this,
Just wanted to say that our virtual office is very, very accessible, and it will be very easy for you to come, any one of you to come and actually talk to Navneet one-on-one later. Obviously from Monday to Saturday from 10 to 6 p.m. between that, and have all your questions answered. Yes, Sohit, sorry, continue.
yeah, I mean, just I was adding in the Navneet tone that Hiteshi, you can download the free apps as well, where you can practice the vocab, and those apps are like a kind of adaptable in nature. You keep on doing the right vocabulary study, you keep on getting the difficult vocab, so that will be very, very, very handy. While playing you can learn some vocabulary. So since you are in the second year, you can start learning more vocab. So more you have the vocab strength, more you have the level of your GRE level, particularly in your verbal section.
So while we're talking about verbal and Sohit, how do you manage time while while you're giving quant section?
This is
Because
that is the multi-million-dollar question, right, ma'am? How to manage the time while giving the exams?
Because
Yes.
I've seen people struggling with that.
Correct. To start with, totally we have around 70 minutes, total 70 minutes to answer 40 questions. So we have around, lesser than 2 minutes to answer each question, particularly in your maths. So, in order to tune your preparation in the lines of 100 seconds or 105 seconds, so first and foremost, the ample practice is required. And the practice should be not in a very conventional manner, but it should be in the lines of a trick-based manner. Or you are using a more trick, and since there is a no step marking in your GRE exam, either you will get a full marks or a 0 marks. So definitely you should develop or grow ability inside you to skip as many as steps as you can. So you just start with a particular question, just figure out in more steps in your brain and try to come to a conclusion. So with practice, and we ourselves help our students, and Jaskaran will justify that how we are able to build the students who start from the scratch level to the level of the success. So the time management part is a pretty important, but it can be done only because only when you are able to skip the steps. So that is a very, very important thing. And since
which means practice again.
Yeah, the practice, and that too from the multiple sources. It's not like that you should confine yourself on a single source, like you are studying Manhattan and you are confident about. No, you have to go forward for the Kaplan, the free online source, what we are providing to our students, what the questions we are modeling and generating to our giving to our students. So you need the holistic preparation before appearing to this GRE test. And one thing I want to give information to our entire audience present here, that you should practice at least 5 mock tests before sitting in the actual exam. This is highly, highly recommended.
Jaskaran, are you finding it now a little easier? Because you want to give, so why Jaskaran is here, guys, so that you can get a practical perspective to it. I mean, from that angle is why I'm asking him this question. So Jaskaran, have you started finding it a little easier than before now that you're practicing? And are you getting more hang of it?
Yes, of course it is. This is the main. Of course, you will get a command on your maths when you practice about it. That's the main thing. In the practice is the main key to score well. As you all know, in GRE we can score full in maths. I'm not talking about verbal, as we know verbal is very hard for our Indians. I can say that, but maths we can do maths in a very good way.
Okay. Thank you, Jaskaran. Thank you for that. So before my question comes, I'll take another question from the students. So Shmita has a question that when is the best time to apply to universities if I'm planning for fall 2022 or spring 2022? Navneet, this question is for you.
Spring, you're running out of time. Apply as soon as possible, because some of the universities will have a deadline of 1st of October. Some will have it, 15th of October. Almost all universities will be done by 1st of November. Okay. So that's the deadline you have to catch up. So if you're ready with the documents, just apply, maybe contact on the number I can figure out some universities for you, give you a short list, the best possible short list. And then, if you have some universities of choice in mind, then you can just tell me if the deadlines will be open, we'll be able to apply to them as well. For fall 22, the applications have opened up already. It was open. I mean, it opened up in the month of August itself. So now it is the time when the early deadlines will be approaching. So by October 15th, the universities will have early deadlines, like the deadline for the early applications will be there. And then if you're not able to chase the early application deadlines, then we definitely have the regular admission deadlines, which will be somewhere in the month of January or December for top institutions, right? So it depends on the kind of institutions you're looking at. January, February, March, April maximum is the time when you should apply for the regular admission. If you want to chase for, if you want to apply for the fall 22, right? So spring 22 is running. So, the time is running. So you have to apply as soon as possible if anyway you're interested for spring.
Thanks, Navneet. Sushmita, I hope we've answered your question. And all set. So, Sohit, I have another question for you. What is the difference between giving GRE exam from home and GRE exam at center? Because I think they're allowed online as well, right?
Both the exams are conducted online only. So one thing,
Yeah.
after the COVID era, just the COVID era began, and the ETS people allowed people, since the centers are closed and everything closed, so ETS people allow aspirants to go forward for the GRE from home as well, right? So what I had seen that the major difference I had figured out that while giving your GRE from the home, a proctor will be there, an online proctor, which you can't see, right? So, but he or she can see that what you are doing while giving you the test. And let me highlight one thing that he or she can, highlight you and pinpoint you that look, you can't see this, you can't move ahead, or you can't, incline something or something like. You can't practice any malpractice. Main motto is this. So it while giving from the home, it is slightly, I had figured out from the student that it is slightly odd. Why? Because it is like every now and then somebody is watching you, somebody is monitoring you. So it's fine, students find something odd to initially to accept this. But finally, I believe that I had seen that few students had a quality score while giving the online GRE test from the home as well. So major, the section wise, there is no difference. Everything will be asked the same. Time wise, it is the same. Everything same. Just an additional feature is that you have to turn on your camera. A proctor, online proctor, will be keep a tab on you, that he keep on asking you. That if you are doing
much
anything
better
wrong.
is to give it in the center, right?
I will recommend.
Yeah.
If you are not in the haste of the time, so I will recommend highly to go forward for the center, because going forward for the center, keep the entire tone of the exam that yes, you are going for the exam. Otherwise, from the home, people will be a bit relaxed, a bit chill. Okay, so the exams is there. But yes, so I will highly recommend to go forward for the center and go forward.
But are all the centers open for it?
Yeah. Now I believe that almost all the metropolitan cities are open.
Right.
Can't say almost about everyone, but in Delhi particularly, all the centers are open.
Right. So I think it's actually, someone is just having, keeping an eye on you. But anyways, I think the home edition also gives you more, it makes the exam more accessible to all.
Correct. With pandemic era,
if the students have got a practice, and if the students, are briefed all these things, and they even practice the way it will be in the real exam. Like, for example, if you are practicing, like, you as a proctor maybe if you are there. So I think the students can even take up the home-based exam. And it's all that, the students find it more easy to go to a center and then take the exam. But then, yes, if the students are not really nearby a metropolitan city, then anyways, they can take up this exam as well. So it's both are open. So the home edition is also open, and the centers are also. Yeah.
Sohit and Navneet, I have a question. US Embassy and universities don't have a problem with that, because because I look after Canada, and I can tell you that Canadian institutions and Canadian Embassy don't prefer a home given test because they want people to go into the centers and give it, and that's only taken as valid by the Canadian High Commission. So US Embassy doesn't has any problem with
The
that.
embassy has nothing to do with any of the standardized tests which are the requirement for the admission. So it is just the university which can have a concern. So if you see the university, if you see they accept the, because we have not just this GRE is, we have the home edition. We also have the home edition for TOEFL as well, because both are conducted by ETS. So some of the universities, they do not accept home edition TOEFL based, TOEFL test, the home edition based, right? So they may have a concern for the home edition, because not all institutions will have that particular concern. Very few institutions will have that concern. And embassy has or the consulate has nothing to do with the kind of test or the nature of tests you have taken up. So if the university is fine, if the university is okay and given you the I-20, given you the offer, embassy is cool.
Okay. And so that GRE can be given multiple times. Supposedly I didn't fared well in the first attempt. Can I give it again, improve it, do that?
Yes, ma'am. That is the best benefit of the GRE exam, that it can be conducted on demand. The way if you feel like, now you are pretty prepared with your GRE exam, unlike the Indian exam, like, CAT or GATE, which is conducted once in a year, GRE exam can be conducted, according to your demand. If you feel like you are prepared enough, you can give GRE exam. And plus you can give the multiple time as well. I guess, there is a kind of a bracket of 5 times in a particular year. In a particular year, you can apply for the 5 times for a GRE exams,
And
which is, I believe, that
also-
more than sufficient.
Yeah, and also, if I'm not wrong, so it is also at the gap of 21 days.
21 days, right?
the retake
Definitely.
date.
Yeah.
The student cannot book the exam right after the student hasn't scored well. So he'll have to wait for 21 days and then book the exam.
Yeah, just 3 weeks will be required, and they can again book the test.
Okay. And supposedly I scored well in the first one and I didn't score well in the second one. Can I showcase the first one? Supposedly that happens. Or is it always the next one, the other one that you have to? Is there any such requirement? Like in IELTS, right? I might give it 5 times. And whichever is good, I can showcase it to the embassy as long as it is valid, right? So what happens with GRE in this case? So
Look, the best score is, best score is taken into the account.
taken into account.
Yeah, whether it is the first time or the last time hardly matters.
Okay. And Navneet, if I have given multiple GRE multiple times, does it affect in admissions? Does it anyway makes a...
Now, multiple times, what do you mean by that? Multiple times?
Supposedly I have given GRE 2-3 times, but
Yeah,
it's obviously
2-3 times is enough. Though it doesn't, I should not say that it will be, a concern if you've given it 5 times, because the ETS or maybe the universities have nothing, because you can just skip the score as well. You cannot, you can, you have the provision of not accepting the score as well. Okay. That will, make the exam, you can just nullify the exam as well by not accepting the scores. So that won't be recorded, that would not be sent to any institution. So, on that ground, you're good. So you can take as many times as you want. But what I've seen is that students take it up by, two times or maybe maximum 3 times. They figure it out. Because say, for example, if the student is scoring with no practice or maybe no assistance or no tutoring, no help, a score of 290, right? So if he starts the coaching, or maybe if he starts taking the classes and he manages to score above 300, the score definitely jumps by 10 points or maybe 15 points. Because anyways, the kind of, whatever intricacies are there in the exam are taken care by the tutor or maybe the teacher, the faculty member. So they give that brief. And if the student is scoring, say, 300 or maybe 305, something above 300, they definitely score it. They have that particular confidence also. I don't think that a lot of students take it up like 5 times. They realize it in the 3rd attempt only that, okay, it is not going to happen. Like, if the score is not improving, they realize it by the 3rd time that, okay, it is not going to happen. I should just stop and I should look into the universities which can accept this score. So they just figure it out. Yeah.
And there are universities which accept you without GRE scores as well, right?
Absolutely, they do.
But I think by the US consulate, it is much preferred from that perspective as well. If you are going to US and you've given GRE, am I
See, there is a
right?
question, definitely a question that why you did not give a GRE? Okay, because for graduate admissions, the consulate is also aware that you require a GRE specifically for some courses like core computer science courses, software engineering, MIS, or maybe data science, data analytics. So, artificial intelligence for that matter. So all these courses they do require a GRE. Most of the institutions. One, the student can just say, because my students, they did, they were asked this question, and we prepared them for this question specifically, and they just confidently said that the university didn't have that requirement. When there is no requirement, why do I have to take it? Okay. Until unless it is bringing up a lot of benefits to me. Okay. Maybe the student had got even a scholarship without a GRE. His overall profile was good enough. So the student, it's just about the confidence and the university entry requirement. The university doesn't ask for it. You can just just directly say to the consulate that it was not really a requirement. Okay. So the consulate takes that into consideration. Yes, when it comes to the universities, even in case if they do not have a requirement of GRE, still the student has taken it. It benefits the student. How it benefits the student is by maybe having a scholarship. Because the student, if the scores are good, they definitely have the scholarship potential. So if the scores are good enough, the university has that particular scholarship open for the student. They can give it to the student. And also, when it comes to top institutions, even if they have waived off the requirement, then they are, assessing your overall profile or maybe your application. So they do look at if so basically GRE is an aptitude test. Right? So aptitude is all about, I think intelligence, how your brain works, right? And it is all about your competence level in different fields. So if your aptitude test is showing that your, scores are high, means your aptitude is good. So you have the potential to score well. You have the potential to get the aptitude. Yeah.
And Navneet, there were a lot of universities which had waived off GRE.
Almost all universities have waived off GRE.
Waived off, and the next year as well, probably,
right,
because of COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. So will it benefit students now to give GRE? Should they give it? Should they
Absolutely, they should. Like I said, when they are looking into, universities for their scholarships point of view or maybe for the admission point of view. So I will say it is not absolutely waived off. It is a requirement for specific courses. Like, for example, if it is core computer science courses, it is a requirement. A university like San Jose State, right? It's not that, very well ranked, I would say. But then, yes, a lot of students prefer being it in Silicon Valley and maybe, having a very affordable fee structure. They do have a requirement. Because core computer science or software engineering is what their program is. Their university is popular for. So these universities do have a requirement. So the students, if they have a myth or maybe not taking GRE, just because the universities have waived it off, they may realize it later if they haven't really researched well about about their course and the kind of university they are looking at and what are their entry requirements. So if you find that university is not having a requirement and you have the confidence about the other profile you hold, then maybe you can skip your GRE test, right? But if you feel that your overall profile is a little here and there, or maybe you do not have a lot to showcase in your profile, but a GRE score can compensate for some of it. So anyways, GRE is going to help you.
Got it. Thank you so much. Guys, if you have any further questions, please put it in the chat box before we end the session and have, any further questions from you. Yogesh, your question about suggest some good and affordable colleges or universities for pharmacy or medicine. One, you don't get medicine directly. You basically go for sciences, which is bachelor's of anything that helps you with biomedical sciences. You can go for universities or colleges. There are universities and colleges both that are affordable in and around Toronto. So for example, in Toronto, if you're looking at colleges, so you can go for pharmacy technician. That will be a good, way to go and start the thing. So you're not becoming a pharmacist, you're becoming a pharmacy technician. But then you do the program, get your 3 years of work permit, work for a year in the same stream and apply for your permanent residency. And then you can do your bachelor's degree regular as a domestic student. Or you can go for bachelor's of sciences with like Trent, Rock, the ones who are in and around Toronto, affordable as well. These were the universities that you can take up, and you can pick up specialization. So supposedly in the longer run, you want to do medicine, maybe take biology or biomedical sciences. You want pharmacy, you can look at it accordingly. So, so colleges and universities will give you this option, and colleges specifically, the cost would be just around in between 7.5 to 9 lakh rupees for 1 year. And the universities would be the more affordable ones would be around 10 to 12 lakh rupees for 1 year. I hope, Yogesh, this answers your question. Like you've got Sheridan, Seneca, Humber, those kind of colleges in Toronto, which will be able to give you pharmacy technician. Apply for September 22 now. That's how quick pharmacy technician seats go off. So if you're looking at something like that, please apply. Like in October, you should be putting in your applications, okay? For September 22. I hope that answers your question. So anyone else, guys, you have any questions about GRE, please put in through. Navneet, I have a question which probably will help students. Are GRE scores helpful in getting paid internships while studying or, in post-study work? Does GRE help there or, in that regards?
Like I said, GRE is an aptitude test. Okay.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's basically, if you've got an outstanding aptitude, it is definitely a talent for, you will be showcasing it to the, the companies or maybe the profiles you apply for. So, I would not say that, it's not really dependent completely that, okay, if you have a GRE, you'll get this internship, or if you have a GRE, you will get this co-op, or maybe you'll be eligible for CPT. Okay, it's not really like that. It's about the overall candidature, overall profile. GRE is just a symbol of your aptitude. So if you have a GRE, you are, it's about when we talk about ourselves or maybe our strengths, okay, in an interview. So we do talk about all these things or the qualities we have when we say we have a strong aptitude, right? Or maybe when we have something to prove it, like a GRE score to prove it, right? So the employer takes that confidence in and builds that confidence in you, and then they give you a job. So it's not really something that you require a GRE to qualify for a job or maybe an interview.
Got it. Thank you so much. So I'm done with my questions and I don't have any other questions from students. So Sohit, if you can help everyone know that how they can get in touch with you and how they can connect with us in regards to GRE preparation, I think that will help everyone. And Navneet, you've put in your details already. Probably you can put in the website address as well, where they can,
paste a link here.
So you can, if you want to know about GRE, you want to know about US, you want to know about Canada, you can always get in touch with us online, and then we can direct you to our offices in that city where you're coming from, because we've got a spread of offices all across India. So that will help you. And Sohit, how and what should students do to get in touch with you? You can let them know. And if there's any parting words you have for them, that'll be fantastic.
Definitely, ma'am. First I had messaged my mail ID, official mail ID and the phone, so that they can connect me at any time they wish. First, and second, the parting lines, what I want to give to all of our audience and all those who are targeting the GRE exams, that make sure that you have the quality material in front of you before practicing. Just glance the pattern of the test and prepare in that direction. I just, I always give a quote to rest of the students as well, those who are in the class as well, that you are, this GRE test is like a T20 cricket. You are not playing a test cricket, right? So make sure that you are tuning your preparation in that direction only. It's not like that you are solving maths entire day. And because ultimately you have to solve the maths in 100 seconds. So there is no point in solving the maths and ultimately realize that I'm not able to cope that 100-second benchmark. So make sure that you are preparing, tuning, and developing those skills inside you rather than the math solving ability. So this is the something, and all those who are targeting the GRE exam, they should start working on their vocab skills, because the more stronger you have your vocab skills, the better you are for your GRE exams. So two things that I really want to recommend to all students. One is first is your vocab, and second is your speed rather than skill too much in the mathematics. Here, speed is a game.
Got it. And Navneet, any suggestions from you in regards to admission process for GRE, in the sense that should they be starting now, or you know,
Yes.
any piece of advice as of now?
I would say that they should start if they are targeting fall 22 and even 23 for that matter.
23,
Okay.
yeah.
So 24 people can just maybe start looking at the curriculum. I mean, maybe what is involved in in the GRE exam. Maybe they can just start getting themselves acquainted to it. But 23 and 22 people have really got no. 22 people have really got no time. They really need to rush in here. 23 people, they have to start now. Okay. So admissions process is, I mean, the applications are open. If you're targeting 22, just contact us, and we can help you through and through. I always call SIEC as a one-stop shop. You can just buy anything under one roof when it comes to test preparation, when it comes to admission counseling, when it comes to editorial, when it comes to visa, when it comes to the post-visa services. So, and even after the students reach there, they still, the kind of, that's what I am proud of, the kind of relationship we build up with the students, that they just be in touch with us, even after, like, just Karan was there to maybe because he, his sister, I think, went through us, right? So this is the kind of, I think, the reputation we have, and that's what we are proud of. So, and I mean, yes, you can just contact us between whatever time you feel that is the suitable time. And I would also like to tell about Sohit and our verbal faculty, that both are ETS certified trainers. They will not say that here. So both are ETS certified trainers, and they've given their GREs on their own. They are very well, I mean, they're experts of the exam. Okay, they know what it is about, what you're going to get in your exam. So maybe I think that's something. I mean, somebody who's taken up the exam can definitely reflect that in the training and any which way he or she can, right? So
So it's
contact
like
us.
an IITian helping students to get into IIT.
Getting into IIT, yes.
Yeah, cool. That's fantastic to know. Thank you, Navneet. Thank you, Sohit, so much for joining in. I really hope that you were able to understand the basics, guys, because that was the whole idea of the session, that you get the basics right. And now for the detailed thing, you can get in touch with Sohit or Navneet online. Just book an appointment and they would be there to help you out. So thank you so much for joining in today. Really, appreciate that. And Sohit and Navneet, thank you so much for the same.
Thank you
guys.
all for joining in on a weekend. On a
Yes.
Saturday
Definitely.
evening. Yes.
Thanks.
So,
Have
Thanks
a
a
good
lot.
Sunday, guys.
good Sunday.
Take care.
Yeah.
See you online sometime next week, guys, in the Zoom session, in the online online SVOs, student visa office session, right, Navneet?
Yes, yes.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Thanks everyone. Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys. Bye bye.